Hello, welcome to Bragging Rights, Season 3, Episode 28. Hosted, as always, at the home of the pod Tribal, sponsored by Comscaf. As always, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, share an episode with a mate, and hype. Don't forget to hype. I noticed this week we were number 65 hyped overall.
Where? Like in the world, in East Yorkshire?
Venezuela?
I don't know, probably Venezuela.
In Hull FC and Hull KR podcast.
No, because I looked, because before you corrected me and said, Jimmy, you said in sport, whereas this one I looked for all the videos and there was videos about fucking ants and stuff.
It might be
and
ant sport.
Maybe.
Ant racing.
Maybe.
Yeah,
But
never know.
We're number 65 on some list, so...
What type of ants was it?
Can they play rugby?
Was it like fire ants?
You're thinking of
them
players,
little,
you like.
little bitey bastards they have
Little
on
bitey bastards.
I'm a Celeb.
Fair, okay.
Yeah. I'll hand over to you guys for a riveting start to this week's podcast.
Yeah, I'm alright though. You alright?
Yeah, I was going to say, are we all alright then?
No, we're skipping that bit.
Alright, okay.
Short on time, short on men.
Yeah, short on
There's no one behind the camera today, so...
We don't have a man behind the camera anyway. We have a lady.
No, well, we
Look
all...
at that. Alright, fine then.
Yeah, great,
We
yeah.
must all be fine then.
Yeah,
Oh,
great,
yeah, I'm alright, mate. This is not very well organised, is it? This is what happens when Dean goes to Turkey.
It is.
Is he finally getting his hair done?
Teeth, this one, I think.
No, his teeth are frustratingly good. Really annoys me. I paid loads for these. Anyway.
I get a refund.
Really?
Well, not for him, to get him straight 3 times.
I prefer bagging on Dean because he can't reply now.
He will. He'll listen to this. He'll be sat by the pool, avoiding the kids, listening to this on one of the days.
We'll get some critique,
guaranteed.
won't we?
Yeah, 100%.
Wednesday afternoon we'll get some critique from Turkey.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway.
Why didn't you ask each other how you was? I don't know how Abel is. That's what we said.
Abel, I know how Abel is. Abel is fine.
All right.
I was actually going to get a sound, but you know.
Sound.
Oh, someone wedged in his mouth.
Yeah. We should start running a book on what one-word phrase Abel's going to use to describe his week.
Hey, if you're all as efficient as me, this would be done in 20 minutes.
That's valid.
Fair point.
Yeah, you'd be able to get to work on time.
Yeah.
We have now just wasted time pretending
That's all
we
right,
have to
because
ask
we're
how we
wasting
are.
the time that we've got to talk about
You
AFC.
haven't started the time yet.
Yeah,
I
let's
have.
talk about.
No, don't count.
Let's talk about your trip to Huddersfield.
Do we have to?
Please.
It was horrific. It was what happens on a game day normally, for me at least, is I have a bad away day every away day regardless because of how people drive on the road and how frustrated I get at people that sit in the middle lane, people that do 50 down Bev bypass when it's clearly a fucking 60 zone.
He's
Unless
going to
you're
try
in a
and
van.
talk about.
It's a speed limit, not
He's
a
going
target.
to try and talk
It's
about traffic.
it's a target,
for 10
right?
minutes here.
And
So
if
he
it's
didn't
a
have to talk
60
about
zone,
FC.
you should be doing 66 because they can't catch you anyway, right? So that's normally the most frustrating part about my day. However, I then got to the McAlpine Stadium, whatever you want to call it, John Smith's, ACU, whatever they want to call it, yeah. And they sat us in the opposite end to where we normally sat.
They did that with Wigan or
Yeah.
St Helens the week before.
So it was like sitting in your old south stand, or standing in your old south stand, you know, because it wasn't tall enough to be able to see the other side of the pitch anyway. So you couldn't see anything, luckily. And then we kicked off.
Apart from Flanagan running in front of you.
Did see a Huddersfield fan.
Okay.
You don't often get Huddersfield fans online trying to give any banter.
Don't
but
often get Huddersfield fans.
No, you don't. They'd put a picture of your away allocation, and it looked like it was after he just scored. Actually, I think the Huddersfield players were under the sticks, or just to the side of him as like a kick was going over, and it was like those from Humberside, or the teams from Humberside always try and brag that they bring the biggest following, but look how empty this stand is. And I was like, I don't understand how you can get that. That bottom bit that you was in was 3/4 full maybe, and obviously there was nobody above because it's a massive stadium. They don't open that bit, and there was more fans there than there was for the Wigan game there.
And there was more fans in that stand than the 2 Huddersfield stands when they kept
Yeah,
yeah,
it
just like, okay.
I get Huddersfield and I get it's a really sorry place team to support and you've got to find your banter somewhere, but there was better banter to be had on that day than trying to rag your following, which looked average to good for FC. You travel well most of the time anyways.
Thursday night's always a crap travel, isn't it?
It's Thursday
I don't do
night.
it myself, but it's a crap travel, so...
No, we were saying before though, like, you've only really had one bad outing this year, which was Lee away, around the time of Wembley for City and so on. And that was a real poor turnout for most teams, but for Hull. This one, was a bit down on numbers it looked on TV, but it was still good. It was still better than a lot of teams take, and it was proven by the attendance.
Right, so we've done traffic, we've done attendance. What else can we talk about?
Stewarding, was that good? Was that
No, stewarding was really frustrating because they sent you into the other stand to get food and drink.
What, into the main one?
Yeah, into the main stand, yeah. Honestly, it was awful.
Sounds it.
Come on.
It was all better than all, though.
Talk to us about the game that's been dubbed El Crapico. Come on, let's go.
El Crapico.
So,
I've got loads of these to go through.
I said, didn't I,
Do
last
you want
week?
me to line you up repeatedly?
Well,
That
no,
could
'cause
waste some time as
When
well.
I was sitting there, there was so many on Reddit going through. It was like a game that can only be described as on tonight. Do you know, like, no, and they just kept going and going. Can you wait for tonight when the stoppable force meets the movable object? Right. And then my favourite one, which only took 10 minutes to be posted online during the game, was please bring back relegation, and then director underneath for both teams.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. No, I said last week, I predict that this is going to be the worst game of rugby league ever because it's two teams that are absolutely atrocious at everything they try and do. And I got what I predicted. I knew it was going to be a really, really bad day after about 5 minutes when the only player that I've been given any credit to over the last 4 or 5 weeks in Hugo Salabio had a mare.
Yeah.
His first stint was absolutely tragic. Penalty, knock on, error, just everything that
Forced
could possibly...
offload.
Yeah, everything.
Worst performance he's had for you for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah. After arguably his best 4 or 5.
Yeah. He's been reasonably consistent since he's got back into the team.
Yeah.
And then, like I say, all right, I appreciate everyone's a bad day, but it was a spectacularly bad day.
And I'm not saying anything like we lost because Hugo was shit. No, I'm not saying anything like that. It's just, it set the tone. The one player that I was kind of clinging to that would give me some hope that we might get
The
something.
White Knight.
Yeah. Let me down. So, I knew it was going to be a long night.
Yeah,
And surprisingly, we stayed to the end. Even Mr. Landon.
Wow.
Yeah, stayed right to the end.
Has he stopped his kids drawing on him now?
Sorry, what?
Have you not seen my message in the group?
No.
Someone put a photo in, I think it was you or Dean, and I replied with this guy encircled him and it was Landon. Needs to stop letting his kids draw on his
Because of
legs.
his shit tattoos. Yeah.
Well, because of his tattoos is what I was going to say.
Fair.
I don't want him to hurt me.
He will.
I think both games are hard to review this week for different reasons, but I found your game played out exactly how everybody feared. When you said the worst game you'll see, it was clear it was the two worst teams in Super League. The clubs that are around you in the table, especially the promoted clubs, are showing a lot more effort. And I felt that, in summary for me at the end of it all, whatever problems both teams have, whether it's injuries, whether it's effort, whether it's someone wrong in the changing room, someone wrong in the backroom staff, it doesn't matter what the issue is. Neither of them teams look good enough to be in the Super League on Thursday night for me, because it looked like the diluted sport we worried we'd get by adding teams to the Super League, where we'd get these games at the bottom end, it was crap performance, making up the numbers, and it shouldn't have been your two teams that did that. It was expected to be the promoted teams, and then at the end, when it all come to a close, that game could have been won by either team, and neither team had the ability or showed the ability on the night to get a hold of a game by the scruff of the neck and win it. And on paper, your team with the players you've got should have looked at that close game and gone, this is a win. The leaders get hold of this game, and that for me must have been the most disappointing part for you, because yes, it's only Huddersfield, but that game was winnable and it still could have been won in the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, again, we don't play for more than 20 minutes. Like, we started bad, we wrestled back control because they obviously got the early scoring. We got ahead, and then the second half was basically, when do we have was it Lee first half, or there's been a couple of times where we've been like just basically non-existent in a half of rugby. Wakefield was the other one where, and you're just like, what the hell's gone on? You know, I appreciate, I don't know, is it fitness, is it attitude? I'm kind of baffled as to what, like, they look like they're putting effort in, but then it's still really bad. And then I'm just sort of like scratching my brain to try and like we're not creating our own problems because we're not really doing anything with the ball. We're sort of like just ambling forward and doing nothing and then being bad at that. And it's really frustrating.
Saturday afternoon, we're sat outside the golf club, me and Abel and Susan. We're having a post-round debrief. And Abel just turns and he basically asked the question, he was like, just help me out a minute, lads. Like, can I have, in your opinion, where FC's going wrong? What then followed was like a 20-minute discussion where all three of us input something different. None of us could agree on the same point, but we all knew we had a valid point, and none of us could actually put our finger on and say, you've got weak second rows and you're weak there and it lets you down, or you don't have this, or the man who owns it is doing this. We all just had loads of stuff, and we all just come away, I think, scratching our heads going, we can't decide what's wrong.
Like, the irony of that is the second rows are probably the only two that went out with any credit.
Yeah.
That was just a, you know...
Yeah.
And the thing I found after is I thought we got rolled all day, but yet the Super League stats said we made more metres. And I'm just like, how? Like, at what point did we like consistently roll Huddersfield down the pitch? It just didn't happen. But they seemed to do it, especially in the second half, where they just basically had free reign.
Maybe it's the Opta guys for rugby league don't get paid enough to care, and they're just like
throw a random number.
Just pressing buttons like that.
The only thing I could think of was obviously we had a couple of breaks which might have, like, oh yeah, there was 40 metres there extra for no reason. But other than that,
I know because I know the guy that. Well, I know of the guy that does the Opta stats for all, and I'm not saying you don't. It's a joke.
I need to call Frank out.
It's a joke.
Was there any highlights there? Is there any good to come out of it from your lenses?
No.
Other than two average to good second row performances, not really.
And even that's frustrating. And Dean said it on the night. He says it's proof in the pudding here that Last does not have a clue what he's doing in terms of squad rotation, like on the day, like rotating the interchanges. With the fact that Lennon Clark got, I think, about 12 minutes towards the end.
Well, I think Salabio came. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was poor on the day, but I think Salabio came back on and must have got like less than 10 minutes.
And then went back off for Bell.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is some of the most confusing interchange decisions I've ever seen. And yeah, I don't think anyone really comes out with any proper credit. But if you're going to pick out two players that stood up and looked like they actually were really gunning for it, was Batch and O'Neill. But you know, you mentioned earlier about reasons that, you know, might be this, might be that, and you mentioned injuries again, and I'm calling BS on anyone that wants to blame our current situation as we're playing now. Like, yeah, for the rest of the season, fair enough, but as we are now, there's Price, there's Asiata. They're out of our 1 to 13.
It's not like 2 or 3 months ago, is it, where you had like 3 or 4 kids on the bench?
Yeah, there was saying there was 16 injuries and whatever. But
at this point, you've got 2 main injuries to your starting 13, and you've got maybe 2 to 3 players that would be vying for bench spots.
So there's a guy that put a comment on, and I don't want to try and dig him out, but he says there's Fash, Sow, Bailey, and then he mentioned Knight. Well, Knight don't count because Knight was gone.
Yeah.
More in everyone's head and in the
They played
club's
2
head.
matches.
Yeah, but he was gone before the season started anyway. They'd planned for him not to be there, and he played 2 matches and then went. So he don't count. Sow gets in that squad, and there's Sow would get in over this week. He'd get in over Aiden for me, and he'd be in the props. And Bailey would probably nudge Clark out as having that little bit more experience, but Fash don't get anywhere near the squad as it is even now. So, what else is there?
Yeah. To me, you're at the nitty gritty stuff where you're talking about character and you're talking about attitude.
I think that's what it is. I know that you put in a group. I know that you said Susan mentioned fitness. I think you get that team as fit as, say, I don't know, Wakefield are at the minute. We still don't win. Because the attitude is wrong, the what's it called? Culture seems to be shot.
And this was one of the points that I made to Abel on Saturday, that as we was throwing around all these different things that have happened around the club, we go back to this. I always talk about this toxic nature at the club, or somebody's toxic, or there's something happening that's wrong. What we're hearing now, when you hear rumours down the grapevine, you don't know what's true, but it's so easy to set a bad egg and it stay there. And we had all the stuff around when Cartwright left him, and Caesar spat his dummy out, and he was one of Cartwright's players, and now he hasn't really turned up since then, only in fits and starts. And, you know, he has got an ego, Caesar. I genuinely think, you know, he doesn't like playing with Arthur. As much as I keep saying Arthur's out of position, I think he should be at loose man fear. There's all these bits and bobs, but I do think there's an element as well of, it feels like people are getting away with stuff. It feels like players are taking the piss in training, they're not putting the effort in, but they're getting game time, they're not dropping, and then people will point to stuff and say like, oh, well, Martin was dropped. But Martin won't be the bad egg, whether he's a young lad that's trying to be a professional player. It's your older heads, the guys that have been there, that aren't doing the rehab properly, that aren't doing the fitness
They're
properly.
not setting the examples they're supposed to be setting.
Correct. Like this week, SASA, viral tonsillitis. No, it's a lie, they've dropped him. Well, we'll never know if that's true or not, but it doesn't matter if it is or it isn't. The point being is, it's already happened prior in the season to set this bad precedent off, and I hate to say it because I know you guys are probably already in that position, but oh my God, is your season over? And I can't imagine it's going to be fun to watch the remaining 7, 8 rounds of this, 7 rounds of this season, because what's going to happen? The only luck you've got is that you get towards the end of the season and a team's already in the playoffs and comfortably in there, and they drop a load of players to rest them, and you get a load of young kids to roll them, because it doesn't look like you're going to get another win.
I mean, in hindsight, it's almost like our game and our season almost ended when they binned Cartwright off the way they did. Because I think if Cartwright stays on for the remainder of the season, I don't know if he was even amenable into that in any way at all, given the fact we were trying to replace him, but let's say you could convince him and not do it the way that we did it, I don't think we're as bad. I'm not saying we'd be tearing it up in the playoffs like we'd want to be, but I think there'd be better performances gotten out of the squad once players started coming back, because Cartwright did have the squad when there were more injuries.
And he had a knack for getting the best out of players in terms of an effort.
Yeah.
In terms of effort. Yeah, I mean, just going back to what Josh said, like, oh my God, is our season done? Like, I've been saying it for weeks. It shows this week. Landon's not going to the away game, as far as I'm aware. Dean's away with all his family, so he's my normal go-to. That's who I go to the rugby with. Cousin Josh, he ain't going. I would ordinarily, on an away day like that, be spitting feathers that no one's going, this is disgraceful, I'll go on my own, I'll find someone. That I'm just not going. I'm not. Like, and I'm not. But a lot of that is, I ain't driving down the M62 on my own, all the way to St Helens to watch that on my own, on the chance that I might bump into someone that I know in the stands.
Yeah.
And you know, not be stood on my own, and the fact that it's an all-standing area, and I'd struggle with that anyway. But
discussed this, don't we? Like, when will fans start voting with their feet? Is it enough to talk about another rebuild, McNamara next year? Will they, when they start trying to sell season passes at the back end of this year in autumn, coming into winter, what are they going to say? Who are you going to sign? And yet, you've just given an example there of, you know, all right, Dean on holiday, but in Josh and Lana, you've got two people that, by all sounds of it, they've got no reason not to go when they don't want to. And they are pretty hardcore fans, home and away. And yeah, you're starting to see it, so it is a big concern for you guys.
I hope we do. I hope we do start voting with our feet, and it's wrong to say it in a way. I hope fans stop going, because I don't think the powers that be, whether you're Pearson or Thurkill, you know, I don't think any of them have ever, none of it, even Pearson never, during any of the bad times, never experienced a massive lull in memberships, in people buying match day tickets. Never happened. Our fan base is too loyal, and I think I would love it if even just for one game, fans turned up outside the stadium and just went, fuck off, and went and didn't go in. Let Sky put an empty stadium on TV, because I think it's genuinely getting to that point where it's...
Well, we do it like 55 minutes most weeks anyways for you guys.
Yeah, but do it at 0, you know what I mean? I think it's getting to a point in my head where I'm thinking that the only way that the ownership will really understand that we are fed up is if we do something drastic. I'm not saying that'll ever happen. It's unrealistic for it to happen, but do you know
It's
what I
hard,
mean?
isn't it? Because you do go in numbers, you do get decent crowds, and yeah, people
We get
will still
ridiculous
go.
crowds for what we turn out.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've tried it the other way. You've tried the backing the club and the following them all over the country. When does it become point where something drastic needs to happen, like you just said about not?
Mate, they
Are
were on
you at
about
that
going to
point now?
Vegas and Dublin and even they did the Australia thing, although that was at a time when we were doing all right. The amount of fans that went to Australia, that were planning to go to Vegas, that are planning to go to Dublin still, because apparently there's still a chance that that's happening, which I didn't know about until
Keep
a couple
hearing
of
it's
days
on, keep
ago.
hearing it's off. We don't know who's going to Dublin.
But I guarantee if we did it, there'd be 1,000 or so fans at least that went across, if not more.
What, to Dublin?
Yeah.
Like more than 1,000, surely.
Well, yeah, but you know,
But that's a decent showing on the current.
that's a
Outlook in it,
a normal away day for us is 1,000. We'd take at least a normal away day
Yeah.
to another country. I know it's only there, but
Don't want to keep dragging you through your misery, despite me
Thanks.
enjoying it.
See you in a
but do you have any expectations to finish the season off? Is there anything that can be done? Is there anything you want, or are you just sort of done with it?
I don't like saying it as a presenter on a podcast, but I am done.
Abel?
If we're gonna play crap, play kids. At least give them Super League experience.
Yeah.
Someone young might be ready for a game, or might be ready for a squad shirt next year that we're not currently seeing.
Borough, as far as I'm aware, is this close to leaving. Why the fuck is Will Hutchinson not playing for our team?
They're questions you need to ask Lasty, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, does he even have the power for that?
No, but he's got the power to drop him.
Oh,
Does he though?
yeah.
Do we know what's going on behind
Well,
closed doors?
No.
Hypothetically,
He is the coach technically, but is the interim coach, innit?
So from what we understand from how it works at FC, and I don't think this is unique, I think it happens at some clubs, when it comes to like signing players, it works as a cohort. So the coaching staff, the backroom staff and the head coach, the assistant coach, everybody involved, they have discussions on what they want, where they want to fit in the team, who they think would fit. They take that collectively and present it back to the club, and then Richie Marler's responsible for negotiations. Now, that might happen at other clubs. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. However, that tells you there's a level of authority and power that Richie Marler's got. Does he still have that power in terms of picking a team that we don't hear about? And that's why players that don't appear to be forming are getting games. We'll never know, but
No.
Yeah.
I'm saying yes.
Oh well. Done.
Any other results this week for you guys?
Oh yeah, sorry, forgot about that. They're all depressing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it gets better, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, they all get so good.
There's a reason I remembered.
The under-18s went down 50 points to 6 against Warrington.
Oh, nearly won.
The wheelchair team went down 64-20 against Edinburgh, and the ladies team went down 78-4 against Manchester Swinton.
Bragging Rights is proudly sponsored by Comscaff. Hull's own Comscaff have been keeping things safe and steady for over 30 years, providing professional scaffolding services nationwide. If you need a team you can trust for your next project, big or small, head to comscaff.co.uk or give them a call on 01482 782 181.
So, retro round for Rovers as we build it. A little bit disappointing in terms of the overall retro feel to it. Yeah, there was a lot of retro shirts there and stuff like that, but for me, Dr. Jive only doing one song. I was off my tits when I found out he was going to be singing. That takes me back to when I first started going to Rovers, and like, he only did Red Red Robin. Like, give him a couple. Where was the Shakespeare intro for a start? The Crow, the Angry Crow. I was on the verge of walking out at this point.
There was some good shirts. I quite enjoyed it. I liked some of the old setup, but I think perhaps it could be advertised a bit better. Dr. Jarve, it did bring me back. I was quite young, my memories of him. But I turned to Susan and I said, like, me and my old man turns, like, you won't remember this. You didn't come to Rovers when like this was a thing. He was too young.
Oh, the old Rufus as well. I'd like to have seen the old Rufus for one game.
On the screen at one point, when like the old Robin went by, Abel's dad just texted me out of nowhere. The name of the 17's Robin was Megatroid.
Oh.
Right. No one can confirm this or not, so this is an open thing. I'm not saying he's wrong.
Hold on though, you did say shortly before Abel arrived that his dad was off his face.
I think
When
what
you
we
saw
said
him
is
at
that
the game.
I think what he said is he'd enjoyed a beverage or two.
Tipsy.
But
Merry.
Got a free one because his glass broke.
that text came at. Hang on. That text came in at 2 minutes to 8, so it was pre-kickoff. So we can't blame the alcohol.
Well,
I've had a few before the game.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, I ain't got a lot to say on it.
calling your dad out as a pisshead.
I probably enjoyed the retro bit
He's
more
had a
than
few
you.
for the game, that's normal.
I think we could do a bit better with advertising it and getting more involved, but it was all right. There was some really nice shirts that I saw, some real old retro ones. I had a man compliment me on my 1980s final one and also how it fitted me. That was an uncomfortable conversation at the bar. Yeah.
Did he touch you at any point?
He had hands on my shoulders, yeah. It was odd. But
So us and Paul text each other, what you're wearing? I'm wearing this. Me too.
there was some odd stuff, but I enjoyed it.
But no, it was. You know, I like the idea of retro around because it does take you back to when you started going, whether you were good, whether you were shit, you know, that sort of thing. And to see all the shirts, like you just said, there was a variety of shirts. Obviously, you get a variety at a game anyway, but there was more so because people had made a concerted effort to wear old shirts. I actually tried some of mine on. The nearest one that fit me was 2007, and it was like paint. So I just went with the World Club Challenge polo shirt in the end. But yeah, it was still good. You know, they did, I'm assuming, as much as they could behind the scenes to get everything off the ground and stuff like that. But I'd just like to have seen a bit more, I think.
I'd like to have seen some old school Biff. Yeah, if it's proper retro around.
Yeah.
Make the old rules.
Yeah, there's
Retro
a-
on the field as well.
Like, there was
Shoulder
some-
charges.
There was some trouble in the away stand, so that was good to see. You know, bringing it back to like it used to be in the good old days.
That was our fault, though.
I'm not getting into that. We don't promote any of that rubbish. But all banter aside, it was nice, and it was as part of a game that, you know, forgive lack of modesty in this statement, but it was an expected result, and it ended up with a scoreline that I think was roughly expected, anyways.
Yeah,
So-
you say there about an expected result and scoreline that most people expected. One of the things that came to my head when I was trying to think of something witty was it's like playing your little brother on FIFA. You let them think they've got a chance up to half time, and then you just smash them. Like, that's exactly what it was like, and it was very reminiscent of the game at Huddersfield. You know, they were in it for the first half. We came out, blew them away early on in the second half, and then built on that. Yeah, we conceded a bit of a sloppy try late on, which was probably a switch off from Andy Acker. Andy Acker scored it from a switch off in the Rovers' defence towards the end. But, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, we got the result. It's 2 points on the board, which is probably the most critical thing at this point of the season.
Yeah, there was a bit of conversation where I stand in the East Stand around like Hampshire playing in the halves and a couple of chances he didn't quite take, maybe a couple of things he did wrong, but overall he had like a pretty decent game.
I'd give him a 7.
Something like that. Only his 4th ever game in a Rovers shirt, you know, and obviously you're still playing a Super League opposition, albeit one that's at the lower end of the table. And forget that when we played them at Huddersfield, Mikey scored 4 tries. And Mikey has all this attention, but he is a miss when he's not there. There was a stat the other day that come out that we'd scored like 80 odd tries, but 40 odd of them were a direct involvement of Mikey. Whether the 24 that he scored or his 24 actual scores or the other ones he'd been direct. He's such a piece of that attacking magic for us that you are going to find it a bit difficult. And I think that showed at times. We made a few poor decisions. We didn't quite get the crisp pass out. But overall, my sort of rallying points from the game were hopefully it's the start of building into a purple patch, a bit different to last year, where this time last year we fell off a bit and then rallied for the big games. Maybe we'll start to build now, get a good run towards the end of the year. You know, results helping us and we stay in the playoffs and
Fixtures
get a good run.
are favourable, I'll put in inverted commas.
But we have got the 3 games in 10 days. But the big thing that got me looking at it all, we had a bit of a conversation about this in the stand, as I was saying, is I think very much I'm going to answer a question about FC later on in the comment section about expectations. I think there's a vibe of expectation around Hull KR that's a little bit too high for what's realistic. And I think that's fair given what we achieved last year. And the reality is that pretty much across the board, everyone's operating at about 5% less. And that's why games like this end up finishing with like a 22, 24 point win. And we don't nil teams. and we don't win by 30 or 40 points, we make a few mistakes, and we're probably just expecting that bit too much and not enjoying it, getting like, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that. Yeah, we make a few daft mistakes, but it's not the end of the world, and then you still go away and win by 20 odd points, and you come away and think, you miss games in every rugby match. And I think maybe, it might just be me, maybe some other Rovers fans agree. Doesn't mean I'm forgiving any of the daft mistakes or silly and stupid mistakes, but I'm not seeing like a lack of effort. I'm not seeing people that don't turn up on the day. I'm seeing mistakes I wouldn't like to see. I'm seeing errors that we should knock out the game. I'm seeing us struggle to adjust to 6 again rulings. What I'm not seeing though is a team that can't rally and win games. And I was really pleased that Peter's made a comment about how he was really impressed about Mini, who had second game in a row, another good game, I felt.
Yeah, I've got him down as one of mine.
Yeah, he stood up in the change room at half time, and Peters didn't really say what he said. He just said that he was the leader in the change room at half time, and he was pleased with how we answered and came out in the second half to come on and win the game. And yeah, we're not going to go all amazing, it's only Bradford, and no disrespect, but it's good to see that, and that's why it gives me that confidence going forward that actually we're going to maybe build. And my final point on this was there was one moment in the match that showed me where, yes, our team's heads are on in the right way. Jez gave a great ball to Gilly and he makes a break. Gilly's one-on-one with a fullback. He's got Budgie on his left-hand side towards the wing. Jez is backing up his own good cut-out pass on the inside. If he passes it to Budgie, Budgie gets a hat-trick. He passes it inside for the easier kick to Jez. Both passes were about the same because the easier kick was what important, because points on the board, better chance at the 2 points, keep that lead going. And I thought that's the sign of the champion team, again, trying to think what's better right now instead of give Budgie an hat-trick. It was more important to get them points, and I thought, yeah, that gives me confidence that we're doing the right things.
Are you sure it's not just because of the way he had hold of the ball made it an easier pass?
No, because for me, the way he ran onto it, he had the ball like that, so he could, you know.
I'm just taking a piss.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
How dare you?
Thought I'd put, you know, there's
Gilly's
banter,
not smart enough to think that fast.
there's banter in there somewhere, but you got to pick your right time, and you got to pick the right stuff.
Wow, coming from you.
Yeah, it just never felt in doubt, did it? Even at 16-10, like, it was just one of those, and you mentioned Budgie there, and I do want to speak about him, a personal milestone for himself, 200th career try, which, you know, by anyone's standards, even as a winger, you know, it's good going. 200 tries. So,
Year out as well. It was
and a year out,
out in Oz, where we didn't really get much game time.
He was playing for the mighty Wests, wasn't he?
Mighty and West Tigers are not two words that put together.
Unless Adam Dewey's back.
Yeah, no, you're right to call it out. It was good for Budgie, and I thought he looks like he's returning to form nicely from a few dodgy weeks, a few rumours, a few potential injuries. So that was nice to see.
It was like he was an extra prop again. You know, his carries out of backfield where he was hitting that contact and making 6, 7, 8 metres, you know, after contact. Which when you're coming out of your own red ball is, you know, them extra couple of metres are massive because it then makes the defence not come up as quick on the next play, so your forwards can then hit the line at contact, and which Tom Amon did very well, although he didn't score. He is on my naughty list for this week. But yeah, it was just good to see. There was performances all over the park. You know, I've wrote down Jez and Minchella as two standouts for me.
Yeah, Jez, Mini, mentioned Budgie, and then the only one was, what sort of baby oil does May rub on himself? Just, he shouldn't be slipping through tackles like that.
He shouldn't be scoring. Tyrone May is not a player who scores from his own 40-metre line.
No.
He'll slip tackles, you know, get rid of it, or he'll put a neat kick in. But he will not slip through like that when he looks like he's the oiled-up deaf guy from Family Guy.
So he said he went to a Diddy party the day before the game.
He maybe, we can't confirm or deny, but maybe he was at a Diddy party. But
But it was just the way, like, as he gets towards the line, most players who are normal in the head would go for the corner. Tyrone May is running along. He stops. And the fullback just goes straight past him. He comes back inside and scores more towards the post. It's like, where does his brain go on a match day? Because I don't even think he knows what he's going to do until he's done it.
No, I get that sense sometimes. It's almost like it's a bit like when you're playing in the street as kids and you're just sort of messing around.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to do.
It doesn't look like there's much shape, but you always make something from it. Overall, for me, I think it's just maybe a slight change from what I've been repeating the last few weeks, which is good enough to beat the teams at the bottom, struggle against teams in 6. It was probably a better performance than some of the ones that we have given when I've said we've been poor. Hence my little speech a few minutes ago about I actually think we're doing us a disservice and our expectations might be too high to try and achieve what we did last year, and maybe a little bit more confident going forward for the next few weeks that solid, get into the 6 and see what we can do from there. We had a long discussion in the stands, and I'll tell you what my dad was predicting. Call him out now. He was predicting we finish 4th, 5th or something, that we'll have an away game and we'll play Wakey away in the playoffs. And
out first round then?
Feeling as though...
Probably the way it's going at the minute against them.
And I turned and went, that'll be when I'll start to think, well, actually, that big game experience that we've now got, will Wakey have... Will it happen and Wakey bottle it? And then we'll beat them. And then we'll go and we'll lose at the grand final or whatever, we don't know. But yeah, that's where I was coming from. I said, we're now starting to discuss it because it feels like a real possibility. We're solidly in the 6th, we've still got a game in hand. Yes, there's a few games to play, but hopefully it's the sign for me that we're going to finish, even if we finish 6th, it's still a success to be in the playoffs, but hopefully we can finish higher than that and maybe have a good go. So,
I mean, you're 5th at the minute with a game in hand.
Yeah.
You're in a good spot to get a playoff space.
Especially with the way Saints are going at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, Saints are the nearest. I think the current top 7 will make up the top. I don't think Catalan's in 8.
Like 6 points from...
I mean, we could lose every game and you could win every game and you still wouldn't be able to go above us this year.
Yeah, but you're just trying to throw in bullshit insults now.
We're
just being childish.
We're going to get El Cratico around too.
We know this already.
I just don't think we have enough derbies and we should play FC 6 times a year. No, as you can tell from our point of view, there's a few points, but it's not too much. I'll just give one final shout, which was I saw loads of people. I had one of them days at the match where you bump into lots of different people, and everyone that I saw it was class. The only one, and because he's going to try and besmirch my name, is Sam Hobson, Obbo's brother. Whatever he tells you happened in that toilet is a lie, okay? I'm just going to say that now and end my section of what I'm saying and pass it to Craig.
You done?
Yeah. Can't wait for the messages this week.
I get loads of people coming up to me like at games and going, up the bragging rights, people I've never even seen before. Like, it is weird.
You're surprising that the FC lot are quite quiet.
Yeah, apart from that one guy in Tesco when I was going to Magic Weekend. But I did mention him to you.
No, I mean, like, at the games, like, me and Dean don't get an awful lot of people coming up to us, and I think it's because we're just not as happy.
Yeah, I suppose, you're not enjoying the moment.
Oftentimes our face portrays like happy, smiley, laughing, please come over. I imagine at a lot of points this season for you, your faces don't portray a very welcoming.
Dean started wearing a hoodie.
Backwards, can't see a thing.
He's got one of them comfort hoodies like that and pull the face mask down inside. That's about it from me on the game. 2 points in the bag, going into quite a heavy period for us. So we'll see how we do moving forwards. Quick roundup then. The women's, they went down 22 points to 30 to Alton Raidettes. The academy, they got a win, 44-30 against the Lee Leopards. And I spoke to Matt Filmingham, who's I believe is a wheelchair captain, is he?
Maybe.
Because again, he actually sent me a video. There was no result on the website. I think the game was either Saturday or Sunday, and then come this morning, there was still nothing on the website. And I looked tonight, not on the website, on the X page. I looked tonight, there's still nothing on there. He actually sent me a clip and he's put, thanks for shouting this, I didn't see it, they sent me this in July. It was when I mentioned about my last gripe about not putting the, before I was corrected, that we don't put the LDRL results on, but we put the PDRL ones on. I'm really glad this pisses you off because I can't begin to explain how much it frustrates us being ignored, which you can totally understand. So I just put, how ironic I'm sending you this message, that nothing is on the X page, another message. But they actually beat Warrington 36 points to 24 away. And he said it was a great game. He said that they're going to make a better effort to put the results on, but he's been on annual leave, and then when he's done on his annual leave, nothing gets done. So it's quite frustrating with that, and I just thought it's worth just pointing out that there are things that we are still getting wrong and that we need to work on, and things aren't all rosy in the club, and not to be a naysayer, if you will, because we've had 3 good results out of 4 this week, so. But it's just that they're away games. Every game's been 2+ hours away. So it dreads to think how much that's costs that's putting on their cars and mileage on and the petrol and things like that. So just a big shout out to the wheelchair team. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, mixed bag of results this season, but hopefully you're all enjoying it and move on from that and kick on next season.
Tribal Kingswood is proud to be the home of the Bragging Rights podcast. Whether you're looking for fantastic food, great drinks, or the perfect place to watch live sport, Tribal has you covered. Catch every Super League fixture, all the Premier League football matches, major darts tournaments, blockbuster boxing events, and so much more. And it's not just about the sport. With regular pub quizzes, family days, and guest DJs taking place throughout the year. And if you're a Hull FC or Hull KR season ticket holder, simply show your season pass to receive 15% off your entire food and drink bill. For great food, great sport, and a fantastic atmosphere, make Tribal Kingswood your next destination.
Shall we have some news from around the Rugby League world now then, gentlemen?
News from around the world.
I don't know why you ask us. Every week you say, shall we have that? You're going to do it anyway.
I know, but if you said no,
No.
I'd still do it.
Exactly.
Because you've just sent some news, we'll start with that.
I have just sent some news.
Long rumoured, I would say, depending on how long you consider long being. How long's a piece of string?
Halfway to the middle and double it.
FC have now finally announced that former player, club legend Scott Taylor, which included a 178 game stint from 2016 to 2023, which included 2 Challenge Cup triumphs for you guys. He will return to his boyhood club in autumn. He's going to work under McNamara as one of the assistant coaches in a new look performance group at Hull FC. So London Broncos this weekend, only just I will say, but they made it 20 out of 20 wins in the championship.
36-22, was it?
I think it was 40-36 maybe in the end.
Near enough.
It was a very close game, Widnes nearly pipped them, but they are 20 wins from 20 games, 4 games left to go, looks like they could go unbeaten, keeps the rumours swirling that one day they're going to be in the Super League. But this result came with a little bit of controversy.
Ooh, the referee.
Jack Croft was playing, and afterwards this brought some question marks up because young Jack Croft was supposed to be serving a suspension. And in the Championship, when you get suspended, you play the next game and serve your suspension the games afterwards. You don't serve them immediately.
Oh, that's fucking RFL
So
for you,
he
isn't it?
played against the Midland Hurricanes, and he shouldn't have played against Widnes on Saturday. And afterwards, the question was raised as to why. And the reason is London was successfully able to appeal the ban because the referee didn't put his match reporting on time.
Oh, God.
Are you kidding?
Nope. So therefore, he was allowed to play. Isn't that mad? Talk about a farce our sport is. He obviously did something wrong.
Don't help ourselves, do we?
He got a 3-match ban. He'd done something wrong. He played the week after because we don't immediately make people stop playing. We will let him have another week before it's all sorted.
Wow.
And then they play him because they successfully appealed the ban because the referee couldn't write his report quick enough. Don't we just make it hard?
He's got 2 weeks. How is he not done?
It's just it's sport in general, isn't it? Like, I mean, you look at the crap that was going on with FIFA at the World Cup, you know, that American lad that got his red card took back off him, and they made themselves look awful on the biggest stage possible. We make ourselves look even worse on such a small stage in comparison by doing it week in, week out. It's ridiculous.
It's madness, isn't it? Maybe some positive news. Current Prime Minister Andy Burnham has been repeatedly talking about rugby league in the news the last couple of weeks, if you've seen. And his most recent one is that he is very much making rugby league a priority as part of his government, and that he wants to support the growth of the game, including the exposure of the game. So hopefully, as we move forward in whatever this government looks like, to not make this podcast political, there's going to be a bit of a champion of the game at the helm, and we might get some more.
Well.
He's from the Salford lad, isn't he? And he's a Leaf fan.
I knew there was some connection to Salford.
They had him on the Magic coverage, didn't they?
Yeah. Don't want to call him out for doing something that might benefit our good game,
But
don't you think he should have bigger priorities than making rugby league a big game? Like,
yeah, but he might have. This
making
might be
mortgages affordable and fuel affordable and
But the
reducing
fuel's
inflation.
out of his hands, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's-
let him drill in the North Sea, mate, and then just sell it to the UK, make fuel real cheap here.
Make inheritance tax zero. Yeah, there's lots you
That'd
should be
good.
doing.
Yeah.
I'm sure he probably is, but this is just prevalent to us as rugby league fans.
He's trying to win the voters.
What, all 20,000 that live across the M62?
The guy hasn't done anything yet. It's just nice that he's speaking about it. We'll see if anything. At the end of the day, he's got a lot more to do.
Free bus travel for kids in August.
Yeah. Maximum bus fare, £2.
From January the 1st.
Yeah. No VAT on gas and electric bills from October.
5% is coming off your gas.
And then,
honestly, he's an absolute legend so far.
I meant in terms of for rugby league. So I said, let's wait and see what's up. Anyways, you've mentioned that. I'm going to throw another one in. Just a shout out. Huddersfield's got open door policy this weekend, haven't they? Free tickets, turn up. So if anybody generally wants to go and watch a rugby league game and anyone's travelling that way around has got a free, I think it's Saturday they play, go Huddersfield, free tickets. They want to fill the stadium. Grow the game.
They want to fill the
I know.
And they played at Dewsbury.
we said it on the day because all the adverts were coming up with free tickets for the Catalan game. And I said to him, I was like, they still won't get more than 7,000.
No.
And 7,000 good for Huddersfield.
Yeah,
there was
it's
4,000.
great for Huddersfield, but 7,000 is what should be an average attendance for, I think, every Super League team.
4,000 for your game this week just gone. Final bit of news then. Good that was talking about youth systems and what teams have got. Former Man of Steel Rangi Chase. You all remember Rangi Chase?
What a guy.
So his son has signed for the Leeds Rhino Scholarship for 2027. And this is of particular note because their scholarship side for 2027 is absolutely chock-a-block with nepotism. Right, just because of the names that are there.
Oh, they've got Scruton's
So
young lad as
Nick
well, haven't they?
Scruton's son George, Sean Lunt's son Noah, Scott Griggs' son Abel, not you, Abel Griggs is there. They're joining players that were already in the scholarship that include JJB's son and Diskin's son as well. So obviously good larkers in their own right. And as I was reading this news, I recalled something that Keith Mason was saying at the start of this year about his son signing for the Wigan Academy, which was that he's so proud of his son because he's got there on merit and he's gone to what he believes is the best academy in Super League.
I don't think there's any doubt in that.
And there isn't much doubt in that. Leeds are close up there, they've got a good academy as well, and these players, these young lads are getting there on merit, on effort and so on. Obviously, you know, so the nepotism is a bit of a joke, but one to watch out for, because I'm sure all these names that we've grown up watching, we've seen a few come through recent years, we're going to see more and more of these names reappear as time goes on.
The thing is, if they grow up around that sort of environment, like my lad used to play freestyle and he played with James Webster's lad, and even if you didn't know James Webster was, or that he was his son, you'd be like, he could be related to James Webster the way he plays. His passing style, his running style, it's exactly the same as his dad's. Like, so if they're growing up in and around that, they're going to have the generic baseline.
I used to remember seeing Leon Price putting videos of Will Price on like Instagram and stuff like that. He used to, I think Will used to go to whatever junior club he was at, and he used to come home and his dad had put him through extra drills at home. He'd be doing extra every day, like after training, and he'd put it all on Instagram, and I'm like, you know, let the kid play PlayStation. Like, but then it's doing that sort of stuff that any of us could do, like as long as you got a kid, that gets that child to be more disciplined, to be just a better athlete in general. Yeah, I think anyone can do it. It's just not.
Again, I bang on about them all the time, but that's where them extra 1% start. They start at that age where they come home from training and then they're in the garden with the ball. They're doing more drills, they're doing more bare peas, they're doing more kicking practice, you know.
I went to a training session recently, an FC training session, and one of the...
Careful, you'll end up getting a game.
You've been waiting for that, haven't you?
John Essiata got asked the question afterwards, like, who's the best player you've ever played with? Obviously said Jonathan Thurston when he was at the Cowboys. But one of the things he mentioned about Thurston was when Essiata was injured, believe it or not, but when he was injured at the Cowboys, when he was younger, he used to stay behind and do his extra...
Didn't know he was accident prone. Well,
no, he's not. He used to stay behind and do his extras after training. He used to, do his meters or whatever they had to run. Thurston stayed with him. Like, he was a kid at the time. Thurston was best player in the world, and he's like, "Nah, you ain't running on your own, lad. I'll run with you." It's that type of effort that you get drilled into you as a youth player, as a kid, and you need to carry that on through, you know, being an adult, you know, being a senior.
Yeah, and look, we'll see in the future. We've seen it already with people like Sinfield's lad, didn't quite work out at Leeds. He's in a Wakey team that's looking like they're challenging this year. So it's not all about the team they're at now, but it's these names that are coming through that it is on hard work and determination. It'll be interesting to see, you know, and it makes me feel a bit old when you start to see players that, you know, their kids are now coming through. Especially, it's when you start getting ones with saying, who have you played with? And you're like, oh, I've played against Hardacre. And it's like, if his lad comes in, you start to think you're getting old now. You know, Tompkins and stuff like that. So, anyways, that was news from around the world.
Right, so this month we've got a new cause, as we always do. Each month we're supporting a different cause. Could be a charity that's close to your heart, could be a 10k run that you want to do, stuff like that. So we're supporting this month. We're supporting the Dove House Hospice on Chamberlain Road. It always comes to me whenever I have to read anything sad, but I'm going to try and get through this. So this has come from a guy called Mark, who is a regular listener, viewer of the podcast, who's recently lost his mum. Works with Dean as well, so that's how we know him. But Mark sent this in. My mum was taken into Dove House Hospice on Chamberlain Road for end-of-life treatment following her battle with cancer. She chose to be there for her final days as she wanted a place where she would not only be cared for, but a place where she knew family would be able to visit. From Mum's first day to her last, she was looked after with a level of care and attention which was genuinely heartwarming to see. In turn, this care and attention was extended to us throughout her stay, seemingly making it just as important to check on us as much as Mum. During her last 2 weeks of life, myself, brother and stepdad stayed with Mum 24 hours a day. Nothing was too much. In getting to know the doctors, nurses and other staff, we found out that this incredible place was 90% funded on donations and only 10% coming from local NHS. It's worth noting that they provide specialist services including an inpatient unit, outpatient clinics, therapies, wellbeing groups, family support and bereavement care. It truly is a special place run by special people. The sad thing is about this place, as we come to find, is that you only realise the excellent work that they do when you are in a position to need its help and support. So, that's from Mark. Thanks for getting me to read that out. But it's this sort of stuff. It's not just about rugby teams, and you'll see next month, you know, there is a rugby team that we will be supporting, a junior rugby team. But it's not just about rugby, it's about real life stuff like that, where we're in a position to promote it. You can see it at the bottom of the screen now. There's a QR code on there that I've created to take you directly to the Dove House page on their website where you can make a donation. You can set up a regular donation, make a one-off donation, whatever you want to do. Or you can just share it with a friend and see if it's something they want to support. But again, this just reiterates from us that we're not just out there supporting rugby league teams, you know, people that are linked to rugby league directly, although, yeah, Mark is an FC fan. We're out there supporting what we can. We're in a position to do it, so we're going to do it, and we'd really like if you'd be able to support this one, and yeah, keep something like Dove House going, because as Mark said, you never know when you're going to need it, and you'll never appreciate it fully until you need it. Right, we'll move on straight on to previews really quickly because we're running out of time. Craig needs to get to work. so we're going to skip the comments this week. Really sorry, because we've got some good questions. We'll make sure we try and get them in next week. Saintsville, all are going to lose. Castley Rovers.
Rovers are going to win. See you, bye.
Do you know, you're joking. I only put a few comments down to start, but it's like, can't see Hull win. Just can't, the way it's going.
Even though Saints are struggling.
But Saints have got so much to play for now. Yeah. Like that loss they end up on the weekend, they're fighting to get in that top 6. They've never missed the playoffs. And the only thing for you guys is like, is this just one of them wild ones where you do turn up randomly?
Yeah. That's the delusional thing. We're going to randomly turn up, play real well.
42-40 win.
Nick a high scoring win and go, where the hell's that?
Yeah, where's that?
Andy last interview after we get a 1-point win against Saints on Thursday is going to be, well, that Jimmy dickhead from Braggingrightshull didn't turn up, so we thought we would. Like, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, but yeah, there's not much from my side, not much to preview. I expect a bit of same. Like what Josh said, Saints are 2 points off of Lee, pushing for that playoff place. They're not going to want to not make that playoff spot. They've got a point to prove. We're rarely going. I seen an interview was done with Jack Wellesby this week where I've not watched it yet, but judging by some of the comments, it's maybe not very favourable to Rowley. I'm not sure, but
there's still something to come out around Paul Rowley leaving the Saints. The timing around it happening and the way it happened.
Look,
we may not find out.
When I lived in Canada, in Little America, I was as close as any fan was to that team, probably closer because I was playing rugby out there and the Wolfpack did a lot with the local teams and especially with like the Ontario team and the Canada team when I was representing. I always got the feeling, I'm going to say this because he's not going to do out. I'm on an amateur podcast. I always got the feeling that he was a bit of a dickhead. And I know that there have been players that recently joined FC from Salford that have made comments such as, if he'd have come when he was rumoured to have been coming to FC, they wouldn't have signed for FC. So I'm expecting Saints to maybe kick on.
Well, when Radford comes in as their head coach for next year,
he's not leaving Union for pennies.
Heard it here first. They will kick on.
We'll see.
Yeah, that is a bit of a rumour going around. I am half joking.
But he's not leaving Scotland.
No, he won't be. The Scotland job he's got's too good.
Yeah.
If you're interested, Mr. Rowley, we record at Tribal on Kingswood and we'll be recording next Monday.
Just off the Bradford Road.
No, we're not.
Tuesday.
My only thing was, and you might be able to answer this, Abel, we spoke quite very briefly about, but it'll tell you a lot about where the club sees your season if we see some big changes, won't it?
I think so.
Anyone in particular you'd like to see?
I like I said, we're not due any big players back, so you're not going to see, either of two of the marquee players we've got out back. So I can't see anything there. For me, if the season's done and it seems like the club's kind of angling that way as well, give some youngsters a go. Can't be any worse than what we've been doing. Yeah. Worst case we turn up a gem. Best case we turn up a gem. Worst case we get beat, and that's no different than what we've been getting done anyway. So yeah.
There was an article today where it's expected now that Barmforth will come back to Hull and he will play second fiddle to De Costa next year. If that's the case...
But what about Borough, Jimmy?
If that's the case, that means for me that Borough and Cust are both leaving. Why not play Hutchinson? Because Hutchinson will be playing the same support role next year, unless he's farmed out on loan, which I think would be good for him to do a full season. But why not?
Nothing would please me more than to see your team next year, and it's like De Costa starts at hooker, and we've brought Steve Barmforth back, great. Caesar's moved on. We're going to move Arthur to loose man because that's where he belongs, and we're going to move Price to 6, like it's long been to 7, so like it's long been rumoured. But Amir Borough is going to 6. That would just be the perfect little gem for me to see all this excitement just to see his little face still stuck in the team.
Yeah, I think we've always touted Cass as this team where they're containing a performance. I'd like to think that we aren't going to let that happen this week. You know, I'd like to think
I want a really close, controversial game just to hear Carr's interview after the match.
It's interesting you've mentioned that, Craig, because it takes me back to my time representing East in the East versus West game when I was over there representing, actually. And I don't want to call Ryan Carr out, but all I've got is that Cass can be dangerous. I backed them last week against Wire at home because they have shown it. Even from the very first game of this season, I felt they showed something, and they've been, if anything, probably the most inconsistent team in Super League this year. And I know that probably is hard for you guys to hear, but they've hit
consistently bad.
Yeah, they've hit heights that you haven't hit. Even your wins haven't been up there like with some of the wins they've had and some of the performance they've put in. And I've just put that they can be dangerous, and you know, if we play sensible, we should win. Adds that extra element of danger that we're at their place, but ultimately we need to keep momentum going. So I'm expecting a Rovers win, not a massive one, and hopefully we carry on showing what we showed this week. And I've got only probably a couple of worries about it, nothing major from my point of view.
Yeah, I don't think there's, you know, it might be famous last words, but Cass aren't a team that really worry you at the moment. I'd like to think across the board, 1 to 17, our 1 to 17 is better than their 1 to 17, player for player. Excuse me. So we do our jobs, we do what we've been doing the last few weeks. We seem to have been, like we've said, Jez has seemed to back a bit of form, Minnie's at a bit of form, Budgie's coming back, Gildart's getting back to his line breaking best. All right, he wasn't brilliant on Friday night, just gone, but he's still hitting those lines, he's making those decisions, and he set Budgie up for his first try. So, you know, I can't see anything other than a Rovers win, and hopefully I'll be proved right.
Yeah.
That's about it, really. There's not a lot else we can say. No bans, no injuries that I'm aware of. Obviously, a couple of players went off last week, but
no new bans. He's still without.
Oh, it's still without Mikey. Yeah,
He's got 2 more games.
Yeah, 3 or 4 this one.
Yeah, still without Mikey, still without Tavitai Pangai Jr. They're the other 2 big notables.
Did he come back at the same time as Mikey, I think?
Roughly, yeah, I'm not sure.
It was 2 weeks after Pangai that he got his ban. I'm pretty sure it's the same week they're both available.
And then,
someone will correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah.
And then Batchelor and Luckley both picked up points for late hits on the kicker, or late hit on a player, I should say, not just the kicker. Luckley was fine, Batchelor wasn't. A couple of points, no one on bans. So looking all right, and we'll see where we go. Bought a chicken and chorizo pie yesterday. I've got half it left when I get in tonight.
Farmers Market.
Farmers Market.
We never went.
On the bridge.
We did.
We were knackered.
Right, it's 22, come quick on.
Yeah, go on then.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of, I know you're on about your pie.
Just want to talk about pies, but it's
yeah,
all right.
well, yeah.
I'm open to that conversation.
Yeah, let's talk about pies.
I'll get on to Wigan in a little bit.
Let the man speak. We want to talk about pies.
I'm leaving this
Pie
bit in.
Balding, good place to go. You ever been?
I've not.
Fields of Anlaby's good.
Expensive.
That's an old school pub. It's lovely.
I used to get pie delivered, you know, when you had whole pie on Prinny on your dad.
Yeah.
But because I really like barbecue pulled pork in a pie. It's like on for me.
Weirdly, like, works.
Yeah, it just like,
Yeah.
It's the same with the one I'm having tonight though, chicken and chorizo. It's a bit spicy, but whoa.
So I don't know how we got onto this, but it is staying in because why not?
Yeah, I like pies.
This is an insight into the shit we talk about whilst the little thing happens on the screen.
Yeah, but you wouldn't believe that we spend like 3 hours here when you only get an hour's worth of product.
It's good.
Let's do predictions. Sorry.
Yeah,
mate.
Craig's time to shine.
Woo! So then, predictions.
Quick as possible because it's you're the one that needs to
It
go to
is.
work.
So shut up and let me talk.
Does it remind you of a time when you was at Lambeth and you was getting coached? Sorry.
So, Golden Cap this week, Private Pile of John Rout. Apologies if I've got your name wrong. 11.75.
What a guy.
That's quite phenomenal. And luckily, our friend Gary, New Forest Robin, was slightly worse than I was because I finished second bottom.
Gary.
Well, it's called Gary Lee, so I'm assuming there's
wow.
another one Gary Lee.
Gary who plays for Cass.
No, that's Carrie.
No.
He scored 3 points. Ironically, I scored 3 points, but my winning margin must have been closer. So thanks for that. Our standings then, Susan remains top, 132.75.
And
Dean,
won't shut up about it.
he won't. Dean, 124.75. Jimmy, 113.83. Josh has now jumped above me, 109.25. But I am only a smidge behind on 109 dead on, so watch this space as we move into the last
player.
Watch this space as we move into the last 6 or 7. We've got 7. I'm so Warrington 6 or 7 fixtures.
Yeah, you got the playoffs and the grand final as well.
Yeah, it's 6 or 7.
League fixtures, 6 or 7. Not sure.
Wow.
On to this week then. Saints versus Hull FC. Dean's got Saints by 16. Susan's got Saints by 8, and I've got Saints by 14.
Saints by 12.
Saints 10.
Saints by 20.
Wow. Castleford versus Hull KR Friday night. Dean has Castleford by 20. No, he hasn't. Sorry, I apologise. He has Rovers by 24. Susan's got Rovers by 18, and I've got Rovers by 28.
Dean's going to be fuming that you said it wrong when he's listening by the pool. I wish
He's going to throw one of the kids in and he's going to be like,
there'll be a bottle of no, is it Ouzo in Turkey? Bottle of Ouzo, just fucking other spirits are available. Just launched across the pool.
I've got Rovers by 16.
Cats by 6.
Ooh.
Wow. I've got Rovers by 20 and Ouzo's Greece. I think it's Raki in Turkey.
That's vile, that stuff.
Yep.
I had some of that in Greece. Lee versus York. Dean's got Lee by 20. Susan's got Lee by 16, and I've got Lee by 20.
I've got Lee by 14.
Lee 16.
But Lee by 8.
This one might split a few of us. Wakefield versus Leeds at Wakefield. I've gone for Wakefield by 6. Dean and Susan have got Leeds by 4 and 10 respectively.
I've got Wakefield by 1.
You're banking on just a close game just to get a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leeds by 10.
I've got Leeds by 4.
So yeah, split 2 and 3 there.
Yeah.
Huddersfield versus Catalans. Dean has Huddersfield by 2. Susan's got Catalans by 8, and I've got Huddersfield by 4.
Catalan by 10.
Catalan by 4.
In front of a packed out Acu Stadium, I've got Catalans by 12.
Wigan versus Toulouse. Told you I'd get them to pies. Dean's got Wigan by 28. Susan's got Wigan by 18, and I've got Wigan by 26.
Wigan by 16.
Wigan 20.
Wigan 28 as well.
Fair dues. Final game of the round, Bradford versus Warrington. Dean has Warrington by 15. Susan's got Warrington by 12, and I've got Warrington by 14.
I've got Warrington by 20.
Warrington 24.
Got Warrington by 8.
So there we go. That rounds up predictions for this week. Watch this space because me and Josh have got a couple of
It's getting
opposites.
closer to the end of the season, and there's a bigger mixture, isn't there? Like there's more of a differential
a
between them
variety
now.
of what
it's
we're
gonna get
going
good.
for. Yeah, so
And then you start getting to your bonus point rounds towards the end where you get double points and things, which is what won me it last year.
oh dear.
This is what I was
I'll take
warning Susan being cocky about
I'll take
previously.
it seriously this year then.
Yeah. I think I did something wild like in the semis or even the last game of the playoffs. I got like 4 results spot on and I picked up like 16 points in one round, and that's how I managed to take over
Right.
Dean. So they do add some funky stuff into the league at that point.
Do.
Right, we're going to wrap up then. So just before we do, just want to say thank you to all our sponsors, say thank you to Comscath, thank you as always to Tribal for homing us, especially on Mondays when it's nice and quiet and we get to sort of set up with a bit of peace and quiet, which is always nice. We don't have to contend with usually the many punters because of how good it is and how popular it is. So make sure you do come down.
Oh, baby showers.
Or baby showers as often as. So please like, subscribe, however you consume this. But if you are on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe so you get the new videos into your mailbox every time they're released. And also, please remember to hype so that we can become as high up as
64.
possible. Yeah, if we can break into the top 50 if possible, would be good. But yeah, thank you as always. And I'll be the first one to say tonight, see you bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.